when you have a top 10 recruiting class that is confirmed and it's National Signing Day, and you're not at the University of Michigan, but you're on the road at Minnesota interviewing for a job, it leads one to assume that that job was locked up, right? Because you've made that statement, I'm out.
That he was under the impression.
Yeah,
and is it just
1 million, I'm out.
Is it just hubris? Is it simply pride goeth before the fall for Jim Harbaugh? I mean, I imagine, Key, he got some intelligence from somewhere telling him,
Max, of course he went into it thinking he was getting the job because they probably gave some inclination that you are the guy without really saying it. It's probably like, oh, man, yeah, I think you got this. Why don't you just come in? Mm-hmm. And he got in, and like I said earlier, maybe he picked his nose at the wrong time, and they were like, we don't want this guy. He just, and it happens.
My experience, there's never a wrong time to pick your nose. So Kevin O'Connell is now going to be the head coach of the Vikings. He's the 5th white head coach to be hired in this cycle. Key, what is the biggest concern you see with the Vikings and the Bears, specifically hiring Matt Eberflus and now Kevin O'Connell?
Well, look, here's what I would say, man. I and Mike Loxley was just on with us, and I believe, I believe there is a duty. Doesn't mean you have to, but there is a duty when you are in a position of power and you are a minority, you are black, to take a look at qualified guys and make that happen. I don't know that those two individuals didn't decide to make the offers and then to black head coaches that they interviewed, and then all of a sudden the owners pushed back on it. I don't know that. I just know that if it was me and I was in the situation and I was the general manager or the athletic director, I wouldn't be there just to be a pawn, just to stand around as a token. We're not doing that. If I feel like this is the guy that I want to hire, and I have a duty to make sure that I am going to change things in our environment, in our culture, and I believe that black man is the guy that can do it, I'm going to hire him because I see what's out there. I see that there's a struggle for guys to get hired, okay, that can do the job. There is a duty. Coach just said it. Coach said it. There's a duty. In fact, I've been having this conversation for a while now with different people in the National Football League as well as college about when you are a black man in a position of power, you need to give others opportunities because guess what? The white man does that. He gives his people opportunities.
I agree with you on the most part.
The most part?
Well, yeah, let me finish. You are speaking from a Keyshawn Johnson perspective of somebody that is in a position of power because of what you've earned throughout your playing career, and you don't need the money. It's not about the money for you. It's about principle for you. So here's the only challenge I would say for a guy, and you brought my attention to this the other day, by the way, because I came on the show saying, I would feel that there would be an intent for a guy like Ryan Pohl to hire somebody. He said, well, Jay, just be careful now because guys like George McCaskey, Ted Phillips above him put him in that position, but Ryan Pohl may not have the same clout coming into that situation that you would have.
Jay, I
you know what I mean? So I'm not making an excuse for it
that.
because we're on the same page with it, but I am trying to think
can only
reasonably.
do what you can do.
Unless you get to that position of power where you have that autonomy, you have that authority, where you don't care.
So how do you thread the needle? You got to play the game enough to get there while also maintaining your integrity as
keep winning to essentially get the power to say, now I want this guy.
Let me tell you something, both of y'all, and I understand what you're saying, Jay, that you want to get to a position of power where you can buck the system and have the authority to do certain things. But in this day and age and where we're at, and we've come a long ways, man. I've studied this thing forever, Jay. And in my book,
I hear you, bro.
I just wrote a book in September that hit the ground running in the month of September. If you go back to 1921, the last time prior to that 1921 was Fitz Pollard. He got hired. Between 21 and 89, 0 black coaches. It took Al Davis to hire Art Shell in 1989 to be the first African-American coach. Okay?
Yep.
Because He understood that there was a duty. He was comfortable. He was born in Brooklyn. He's seen us walk the streets. So he wasn't intimidated. He hired the first female in Amy Trask. So it's like, look, I get it. You don't want these guys to put their careers at risk, but I just believe that there is a duty to push back, especially going through the things that we're going through right now. I don't know. For me, I just feel that way.
Oh, no.
And that's one of the main reasons over the years since I've been retired, I had the opportunity to be general managers, and many people know this. But because I am not going to sit there and allow you to tell me who to hire when I know that the right person for the job is this individual. So why am I even interviewing him?
But once again, it goes back to my position. And I'm not saying that I disagree with how you look at it, because we're on the same page about that. We're both in positions of power. Like, I do that with my companies that I invest in, that I have a stake in, that I have a voice in. I do that. But I do try to be empathetic to first-year GMs who maybe don't come into the game with the same kind of clout, even though they may have the intent to want to hire. There may be a little bit more of a strategery involved, a little bit more of a chess play for them on how they can get there. You know, and I just don't want to minimize that, because that's different strokes for different folks, right? Key can be a little bit more disruptive. Like Brian Flores can do that, but he's jeopardized potentially his job. But he also has been a winning coach, proven in the league. Not other people have that resume to do that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.